Youth Scouting in the United States, an audio presentation. What exactly is a scout? Scout, as a noun, is a military term referring to a soldier who conducts information-gathering missions in unsecured or enemy territory. American military examples include the Army's Cavalry Scouts and the Marine Corps' Sniper Scouts. Scouting in non-military terms can also refer to an international youth movement that traces its origins back to the late 18th and early 1900s into the writings of British Lieutenant General Lord Robert Baden-Powell. Lord Baden-Powell was an intelligence and reconnaissance officer in the British Imperial Army who, as an officer, wrote and published a number of scouting and wartime training manuals. Titles include Aids to Scouting for NCOs and Men, Reconnaissance and Scouting, and Quick Training for War. In 1903, upon returning to the UK from service in the Second Boer War in South Africa, Baden-Powell had discovered that his training manual, Aids to Scouting, had become a bestseller. Of those buying and reading his book, a number of which were youth organizations, which include the religious organization called the Boys Brigade. The Boys Brigade, which was founded in 1883, espoused the muscular Christianity philosophical school that was prevalent at the time. To get an idea of what muscular Christianity is, think about similar organizations such as the YMCA or the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. The idea at the time was that the foundation of a good society depended on the development of masculine and athletic young Christian men. Baden-Powell became involved with the Boys Brigade and helped develop the Boys Brigade Scouts, which existed from 1906 to 1927 as an additional Boys Brigade program. Unaffiliated with the Boys Brigade, Baden-Powell conducted an 8-day tiered price camp for about 20 boys in 1907 on Brownsea Island. This is considered by the greater international scouting movement as the first scout camp, and is still considered a historical and sacred secular place for these groups. In 1908, Baden-Powell published what is considered the first non-military scouting manual called Scouting for Boys. This book is organized into what Baden-Powell called Campfire yarns and focused on outdoor skills, physical fitness, citizenship, and chivalry. The publication of this book is widely credited for starting the greater international movement. Organizations that trace their roots back to scouting for boys share common practices and symbologies, such as the use of the fleur-de-lis, a symbol reminiscent of a compass rose. Uniforms, the paramilitary use of units and subunits such as troops and patrols, special creeds, salutes, handshines, and handshakes. In 1910, the British Boy Scouts Association was founded for boys between 11 and 18. It wasn't until Baden-Powell's sister, Agnes, founded what was called the Girls' Guides that girls had a scout-led organization to call their own. Robert and Agnes Baden-Powell co-wrote the first Girl Guide manual called How Girls Can Help to Build Up the Empire. This manual is largely a reworking of Scouting for Boys and includes sections on housekeeping, nursing, and childcare. Girl guiding at this time had similar uniforms, structures, creeds, hand signs, and handshakes to the Boy Scouts. However, instead of the fleur-de-lis, the Girl Guides used a trefoil or clover symbol. In 1914, a program for younger boys was developed by Scoutmaster Percy Everett called Junior Scouts. Baden-Powell instead wanted the younger scouting section to have a distinct identity from the Boy Scouts, so in 1916 he wrote the Wolf Cubs Handbook, which was geared towards boys younger than 11. This publication was heavily influenced by the Jungle Book by Rudyard Kipling, a friend of Baden-Powell's. Scoutmasters were even encouraged to read the Jungle Book to their group. Like the Boy Scouts, the Wolf Cubs developed into an international movement in its own right. The age equivalent to the Wolf Cubs for girls was called the Rosebuds and were founded in the same year. After complaints, Baden-Powell renamed the Rosebuds into the Brownies, which is derived from the children's story entitled The Brownies by Juliana Hortensia Ewing. In 1922, Baden-Powell published a manual for what was an adult section of the Boy Scouts called The Rovers. The Rover Scouting Manual was called Rovering to Success. Robert Baden-Powell, his sister Agnes, and later his wife Olave were heavily involved with the international Boy Scout and Girl Guide movements. Not including military manuals, by 1939 Baden-Powell wrote or co-wrote over 20 books on scouting, guiding, cubbing, and rovering. Scouting for Boys is still a widely read book by those interested in the international movement. Being written in 1908, it is important to note and be aware that some of the ideas expressed in Scouting for Boys are rooted in Christian supremacy, toxic masculinity, misogyny, imperialism, and racism. Scouting, on the international scale, is a largely decentralized movement today. However, independent scouting groups have organized themselves into international scouting organizations, including the World Organization of the Scout Movement, or WOSM, which is an association of national male-only or co-ed scouting groups. This also includes the World Association of Girl Guides and Girl Scouts, or WAGGS, which is an association of national female-only scouting groups. And finally, the WFIS, or the World Federation of Independent Scouts, which is an association of national scouting groups that choose to, in their own words, follow and use Baden-Powell's original program except for reasons of health, environment, and safety. Many religious denominations also have their own officially sanctioned groups. Even today you will recognize common international themes such as the fleur-de-lis or the trefoil symbol. These symbols were chosen by the Baden-Powells to represent the three elements of the original Scout promise. This threefold promise is echoed in a three-fingered hand sign or modified salute that are used by many international groups even today. The original motto of the Scouts and Guides was "Be Prepared." This slogan, or a spiritually similar variation, is still used by a majority of scouting groups, including both the U.S. Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts, as is Baden-Powell's original left-handed Scout handshake. Doing a good turn daily is a repeating scouting motif that traces its roots to the founding Baden-Powell books. Scouting groups the world over can still be seen wearing neckerchiefs and reciting a variation on Baden-Powell's original Scout law. The highest award a Scout could earn in Baden-Powell's program was called the King Scout Award. Most American scouting organizations today also have a pinnacle award that Scouters can earn that follow in this tradition. So in short, outside of the military, a Scout is a member or alumni of a group that traces its history, traditions, mission, and ethics back to the Boy Scout movement, which began in the turn of the century Imperial Britain. A brief history of American scouting. As a disclaimer moving forward, under United States copyright law, the term Scout or Scouting can only be used by the Boy Scouts of America, or the BSA. The term Girl Scout is copyrighted by the Girl Scouts of the United States, or the GSUSA. When using the term Scouting or Scout, I am using it in regards to organizations that are affiliated with the international movement both formally and informally. In the United States, organizations not affiliated with the BSA cannot legally use the term Scout. This doesn't mean that the history and structure of these organizations shouldn't be considered as a part of what makes up American Scouting. The two largest scouting organizations in the United States are the BSA and the GSUSA. Early American Scouting. In the beginning of the scouting movement, there existed many scout-like organizations that are defunct or exist in a different form today. This includes the Woodcraft Indians, founded in 1901. The founder, Thompson Seton, was a friend of Lord Baden-Powell and had influence over his early scouting ideas. Thompson Seton is credited as the founder of a related international woodcraft movement. His book, The Birch Bark Roll, was given to Baden-Powell and served as an influence on scouting for boys. This group eventually merged with other groups such as the Boy Pioneers, Peace Scouts, the National Scouts of America, and the Boy Scouts of the United States to form the first iteration of the Boy Scouts of America on May 5, 1910. After falling out with the BSA leadership, Thompson Seton was re-established a co-ed Woodcraft Indians in 1915, which was eventually renamed the Woodcraft League of America. A notable trait of the Woodcraft League was the existence of a co-ed Brownies section for children 6 to 11. The Woodcraft League of America heavily incorporated misappropriated Native American culture, as was common at the time. The BSA Honor Society, the Order of the Arrow, the early traditions of the Campfire Girls, the YMCA Indian Guides and Indian Princesses, all take heavy influence from the early Woodcraft movement. The Woodcraft League of America eventually became defunct, and now unrelated camping education resources of the same name exists online. The Boy Scouts of America, or the BSA. The BSA was founded in 1910 through a collaboration between Daniel Carter Boone, Thompson Seton, and James West, with West taking an executive role in 1911. The young BSA recruited professionals from the YMCA to develop its early programs. This cemented the BSA's continuing ties with mainstream Protestant Christianity. Also in 1910, in competition with the BSA, the American Boy Scouts were founded by William Randolph Hearst. The BSA and the ABS were similar, but publicly disagreed on whether military training and weapons should be included in scouting. The ABS, which later became the now defunct U.S. Junior Military Forces, was considerably more militarized than other scouting organizations. The BSA and the what was now renamed the United States Boy Scouts had such similar names yet differing ideals that in 1919 the BSA, along with support from Lord Baden-Powell himself, filed an injunction against the USBS in a New York court to forbid them from using the term Scout. This granted the BSA the legal ownership of the U.S. Scout copyright. The first Eagle Scout Service Award was conferred in 1912. The Eagle Scout Award and associated palm devices are the highest service-based honor a Youth Scout can receive. Adult Eagle Scouts can later be awarded additional awards such as the Outstanding Eagle or Distinguished Eagle Scout Awards. The BSA also issues recognition awards to adults, the highest being the Silver Buffalo and the Silver World Awards. In 1913, Emerson Brooks founded the Boy Rangers of America, which enrolled boys younger than 12. After the BSA obtained rights to Baden-Powell's Wolf Cub program in 1918, the BSA officially began its Cub Scout program in earnest in 1930 and absorbed the Boy Rangers as a part of the Cub Scouts program. The BSA began its senior division for boys 15 to 20 in 1928. In 1959, the BSA allowed girls 15 to 20 to join the Sea Scout program. In 1969, the BSA allowed members of the Campfire girls to participate in their 14-year or older, now defunct Explorer program, and were allowed to become full members in 1971. In 1998, the Explorer program was reinvented into the Venture Scouts and allows co-ed membership to young men and women from ages 15 to 21 years. The BSA did not officially become racially integrated until 1974. Prior to 1974, BSA policy was to segregate or integrate as the local public school system did. The BSA lifted the ban on admitting openly gay scouts in 2013. In 2015, gay scoutmasters were allowed to participate, and in 2017, the ban on trans boys and men was lifted. Women and girls were allowed to fully participate in the BSA Scouting and Cub programs in 2019. While the overall organization is choosing to remain the Boy Scouts of America, their main scouting program changed its name from the Boy Scouts to Scout BSA. Boys and girls in the Cub Scouts and Scouts BSAs are members of gender-segregated troops. Only Sea Scouts and Venture Scout troops are fully gender-integrated. The BSA is a member of the World Organization of the Scout Movement. Campfire. In 1910, the same year the BSA was founded, the BSA assisted Luther and Charlotte Gulick to found the Campfire Girls as a scouting organization for girls, and was intended to be a sister organization to the BSA. For this reason, early relations between the Girl Scouts of the USA and the BSA were strained. In 1912 and 1913, both the Girl Scouts of America and the Girl Guides of America proposed a merger with the Campfire Girls, but both were rejected. The former is currently defunct, and the latter is now the Girl Scouts of the United States. In 1962, the Wihilo Award was introduced as the organization's highest service-based award a participant could receive. In 1975, the group became co-ed and changed the name to the Campfire Boys and Girls. As of 2012, the org now goes by Campfire, and since 2006 has undergone a branding change that de-emphasizes traditional scouting elements and instead focuses on teen leadership, after-school and outdoor education programs. Girl Scouts of the USA. In 1910, the Girl Scouts of America, the GSA, was founded by Clara A. Linsator Lane in Des Moines. In 1912, Juliet Daisy Gordon Lowe led a UK troop of Girl Guides and met Lord Baden-Powell. In 1912, she founded a Savannah-based Girl Guide troop. She called this organization the Girl Guides of America, the GGA. The GGA approached the GSA for a merger, but the GSA instead threatened to sue the GGA for infringement. The GSA later had financial troubles and dissolved before any suit could be brought to court. In 1913, the Girl Guides of America changed its name to the Girl Scouts of the United States. In 1916, the highest service award a Girl Scout could earn was implemented and called the Golden Eagle of Merit. Later shortened to the Golden Eaglet, the award name was changed to First Class in varied iterations until being permanently called the Gold Award in 1980. The Gold Award is currently a service and learning-based award. In 1918, after the BSA gained legal copyright to the term Scout, the GSUSA refused to yield to requests to change their name with support from Lord Baden-Powell. The legal tensions never escalated, and the GSUSA owns the copyright to the term Girl Scout. The GSUSA became fully racially integrated in 1951. Prior to the 50s, each council independently made the decision to have racially segregated or integrated troops. The Girl Scouts have never had an official policy against the inclusion of gay or trans girls and women. In 2011, the GSUSA reaffirmed with explicit policy that gay and trans girls and women are welcome. Policies around gender are centered around the welfare and best interests of each individual child on an individual basis. In 2004, the GSUSA shifted curriculum away from individual skill-based awards to a module-based progression centered around life skills, STEM, entrepreneurship, and outdoor education. GSUSA is a member of the World Association of Girl Guides and Girl Scouts. The American Heritage Girls. The American Heritage Girls, or AHG, was founded in 1995 as a Christian faith-based breakaway from the GSUSA. This was done in response to the GSUSA decision to allow individual members to substitute for the name God in the Girl Scout promise and law. In 2009, the AHG entered into a formal partnership with the BSA that allows them to collaborate on projects and share facilities, particularly as it related to the BSA Co-Ed Venture Scouts. Each recognized the other as a sister organization that shared values and mission. This partnership was dissolved when the BSA voted to allow gay boys to become members in 2013. The American Heritage Girls are now partnered with the all-male Trail Life USA. The organization is open to girls 5 through 18. The highest award a member can earn is the Stars and Stripes Award. The Baden-Powell Service Association. The Baden-Powell Service Association of the U.S., or the BPSA U.S., was founded as an adult-only scouting organization based off of Baden-Powell's original Rovers in 2006. Since its founding, the BPSA U.S. has had an inclusive co-ed and LGBT-friendly membership policy. Youth groups modeled after the traditional scouting model were added in 2008 by a former BSA Cub Scout leader who was asked to resign due to wanting to incorporate a non-discrimination policy into the Cub Scouts. The highest service award a youth scout can earn is the George Washington Scout Award, and the highest service award an adult scout may earn is the Baden-Powell Award. As of 2020, the BPSA US has begun selecting a new name due to the problematic history that surrounds the movement's founder, Lord Baden-Powell. Trail Life USA. In March 2013, the BSA voted to allow openly gay boys to participate in their programs. By July of that same year, a BSA breakaway group, Trail Life USA, was founded. Similar to the BSA in many ways, Trail Life USA is a Christian faith organization that officially allows boys of any orientation to join, but chooses to promote sexual purity, which the organization only recognizes as sexual activity between a lawfully married cis man and cis woman. The program started full operations in 2014 and is a male-only organization from ages 4 to 25. The highest Scout award conferred is called the Freedom Award. A number of religious denominations also have Scout-like organizations, some of which include, but are not limited to, the Royal Rangers of the Assemblies of God, the Pathfinders of the Seventh-day Adventists, the Gems and the Calvinist Cadet Corps found in Calvinist denominations, the Catholic Troops of St. George, Navigators USA, which is affiliated with the Universal Unitarian Church, the Adventure Corps and Girl Guards of the Salvation Army, and the Spiral Scouts, which are affiliated with the Wiccan Temple. Additionally, a small number of international scouting organizations also have branches in the U.S., predominantly in immigrant and refugee communities. Examples include U.S. branches of the Organization of Russian Young Pathfinders, the UK-based Baden-Powell Scouts Association, and the Israeli Scouts. Likewise, there exists a number of BSA and GSUSA troops abroad. Scouting for adults. The maximum age for many scout groups is either 18 or when the scouter officially graduates high school. Notable exceptions are the maximum age of 25 in Trail Life USA, 21 in the BSA Venture Scouts, and the Rover section of the BPS US, which has a minimum age of 18 and no maximum age. The GSUSA and the BSA both have alumni programs for adults, and a limited number of colleges and universities have service clubs for former scouts. A number of scholarships are exclusively available to alumni of scouting organizations, especially to those who have earned a top award. Alpha Phi Omega exists as a co-ed college service fraternity that was founded by former Boy Scouts. Additionally, the college fraternity Epsilon Tau Pi only permits men who have earned the rank of Eagle Scout. The Kappa Delta College sorority is partnered with the GSUSA. The BSA and the American Freemason movement have early ties dating back to their founding, as Daniel Beard was a Freemason. There exist special opportunities within the Freemason movement for those members affiliated with the BSA. The U.S. Armed Forces have programs that allow recruits early promotions based on having earned the Eagle Scout or Gold Awards. For instance, A new enlistee in the U.S. Army can currently earn the pay grade of an E2 if they are an Eagle Scout or hold a Gold Award. In the Navy, a new recruit with the same qualifications can enter the service at the pay grade of E3. For reference, the most common pay grade that enlisted recruits enter the services is known as E1. The International Scout and Guide Fellowship is an international organization for adult alumni of WOSM and WAGGS programs, which in the U.S. would be the BSA and GUSA alumni. I hope this audio presentation has adequately summed up American Scouting. I am hoping that Scouts and Scout leaders that are a part of any and all of these groups can learn from this presentation. It is important to know where we came from so that we can move forward. This presentation is for entertainment purposes only. All references can be easily found on a common search engine. If I made any mistakes, please comment with a credible source and I will pin it. Thank you.